So I'm walking at the park right now. You won't be able to see me very well, but I just had this idea come to mind and I thought I would speak on it. So basically, I feel like the universe puts you in these weird situations on a daily basis almost. Like optimally, every day you experience something novel and different that gives each day this sort of like unique characteristic that makes the day feel worthwhile, that makes it feel like, oh, today was a good day, or leaves you in a good spot by the end of the day. And sometimes I feel like those moments don't come. Like today, for example, I've just been feeling out of it like all day. And I can't really figure out, I could not figure out why. Like I felt so foggy and like unmotivated. And like I work from home. And so when I'm just sitting there in the environment all day, like I meditated, I sat outside multiple times. I tried to like give myself this sort of boost so I could feel like clarity again, so I could feel motivated to keep like working and keep at the grind. And I just couldn't get it. And like this whole last week, I've gotten so much shit done. I've come up with all these ideas and I've executed on the ideas. Like I've made what I've wanted to do happen. And then like today, I'm left with this feeling of like, now what? And like what's next? Why does it feel like something's missing? And I hop in my car and I'm like, oh, I need to go drive somewhere. Like I need to walk at the park, or I need to just change my environment, right? And I did that. I went to like my local downtown, like little town with a nice park I always love, and just like looked at the water. There's a river here. Just paid attention to everything, felt present with it all. And yeah, I don't know. I like instantly, I came here around a little after sunset, and like even in the dark, like instantly I just felt like more like present, more myself. And like that's what I was looking for. But it's like the weird and funny situations, you know. I see people out in town or in the park, like walking with like their friends or their partner, and it's just like, it's cool to see everyone out, but like it's the funny interactions with the other people that makes life seem so funny and interesting, and it makes those days like feel like something happened, you know. Sorry if I sound out of breath. I am walking and there might be river noises in the background, but regardless, like one of those funny experiences that just happened a little bit ago. I'm like, I just start the trail through the park, just start walking by the river, and these two guys like 100 feet from me just start like running through the trail, like into the dark. And I'm just like so confused. I'm like, why are they like sprinting? And then this girl comes like running also, and then she like stops and she's like trying to figure out like where they went. And I'm like walking up to this like part, and I'm like, why are you guys running? And she's like, I don't know. And then I just like laughed and then kept walking the path. And like not even 30 seconds later, one of the guys that was running, he sees me on the trail, like hiding behind like a bush, and he's like, whispers to me, he's like, is she coming yet? And so like he was sitting there like waiting to scare her. And it's just, those moments are so funny because it just reminded me to like not take everything so serious, and that sometimes you just need to like put yourself out there and get out of the house and like communicate with people, or just like experience those little funny moments of life that make it interesting. And yeah, now I'm just like walking through the park, looking at like the cool shadows and the lighting and everything, and it all just like it feels good to be out here. Yeah. And like it goes for everybody when I mean like that you should try to make things more interesting. And it sounds cliche and it sounds odd even. It's like hard for me to even like wrap my head around what that necessarily means, because it's different for everyone. But I just feel like sometimes you need to put this effort towards making your day like worthwhile. And like if you get that feeling of like what's next, you have to like push to find out and like keep asking yourself the question until you figure out the answer. And it's weird because those answers, they come and they go, you know. It's like you will understand it one day, or you'll figure it out one night, and then like the next morning it's like completely gone. It's like this feeling of like forgetting, the cycle of forgetting and remembering. And it's weird. Humans are odd for that, but it's beautiful in a way. I also want to mention when people throw around those cliches of like, oh, that night was a movie, it's like I feel like that's what it's supposed to feel like. I feel like when everything goes the way it's supposed to, in like this unique timeline of that day, if you want it to be interesting, I feel like it does end up feeling like this like movie plot. You know, there's like these funny plot lines where these there's characters in the plot. There's these like plot lines of how things go, and it's just funny. Like sometimes it's so obnoxious and it's so funny, but it's like so perfect at the same time. And yeah, it just leaves everything feeling like a book. But that's for all that part. Something else I wanted to add to earlier. So I was talking to my buddy on the phone earlier, and he was telling me how he was like panicking to get his headlight bulb replaced so he could make it to the show tonight, like downtown, and it ended after dark, and he didn't want to have a burnt out headlight bulb after dark. And so like I know about cars, and we were looking up videos like on the phone trying to figure out how to do it, because I mean obviously most cars it's very easy, but it ended up you have to like take apart your front bumper because of the way that it was designed and this whole stupid thing. And he's like freaking out, and all these videos show you like doing all this stupid shit to take your bumper off or to replace your headlight. And he tells me like an hour later how he ended up accidentally crashing into a lady and there was no damage. And then like he showed up at this shop, and this guy just like, he just went in and like fixed it, and like he replaced the bulb away like none of the videos had showed. And he said it was just this super funny situation, and it all ended up unfolding perfectly. He picked up the other guy he was going with, and they made it to the show like perfect timing, everything. And so all the panic was like, you could say, oh, all the panic's for nothing, but to relate it to what I was talking about, it's like, oh, maybe all the panic was the story. Maybe all the panic was that writing on the page of the day that gives like the meaning and the memory to the day. So like looking back in the future, you know, you can be like, oh, this happened that day. I accidentally hit a lady. Everything ended up, I was scrambling, everything ended up going perfectly. And it's just like funny moments like those where it's like I'm being told this story while I'm trying to figure out my own story. And life's just like funny like that. But I'm gonna cut it back to where I was. It's peace. But yeah, I'm gonna keep walking. Thank you for listening. This is kind of just a notepad for my thoughts. But have a good night.